How you going, guys? I just want to share with you a bit of a story about an encounter I had with a complete stranger like a few months back. I don't want to tell the story to make myself look like a big hero or something like that. It's a pretty crazy story, just how it all unfolded. And yeah, I was just looking for ideas to do a video today and haven't had a chance to get out really, so just gonna put a video out there, and it's a pretty cool story. And yeah, tell me what you reckon about it, comment about it, see if you reckon it was just all coincidences or whether it was actually like God making moves. But yeah, so I'm sort of telling this story because it sort of shows how God can be orchestrating something behind the scenes, like when you don't even know it's about to happen. Anyways, here it goes. This is I think 2 or 3 months ago. It was like a Tuesday. I just got home from work, and it was usually the day where I'd come home from work and just shower up and go down to the gym for a couple of hours or whatnot, but didn't really feel like going to the gym at the time, and I was just sitting on the couch flicking through Netflix and sitting there going, should I go, should I not go? Just going back and forth in my head and whatnot, and eventually it was like just getting on dark, and that voice in my head just goes, nah, stop being a bitch, get down to the gym, you'll feel better after it. So I got up and I was like, alright, I'm going. So anyways, get in my car and I drive down to the complex there. This was when I was still in Marsden. It was like a Coles and a little EMF gym there that I used to go to. So anyways, I'm driving into the car park, and I usually park right outside the gym, but that line of parking there was pretty full up, and I hate trying to squeeze my ute because they're real small car parks. So I kept driving and I went like another 5 bays up, and I parked my car there and stuck it in park. And then I do not know why I did this, but I was sitting there and I can't remember what I was thinking about. But I was like, nah, stuff it, I will go park back around to the other side where I'd usually park. So anyways, yeah, I put it out of park, put it into drive and went back around to park where I'd usually park. Got in my spot, then as soon as I got out of the car, I could just hear this chick just absolutely like screaming, crying. Like my first thoughts was like, she's lost like a child, or she's lost, like someone's died or something. She was just like in hysterics, like arms in the air and just like screaming up against her car. And my first instincts was just, I walked up to her, I was like, you all good? Like, what's the matter? What's going on? Like that. And she couldn't even really get a word out. I couldn't understand what she was trying to say. She was just absolutely just a mess and looked scared, just terrified. And she sort of fell down beside her car, just like leaning up against the car like that. And I leant down to her and I was trying to ask her again what was the matter, but she couldn't get it out. And then I just said, can I pray for you? And she like nodded her head. She was like, yeah. She was like a African, maybe Sudanese girl. I'm not too sure what nationality she was, but probably in her mid-20s or something, I guess. So I said, can I pray for you? And she nodded her head, and I just said, is it all good if I put my hand on your shoulder? So I did that, put my hand on her shoulder and just said a prayer, just praying against any anxiety or fear or just bad spirits, whatnot. I can't even remember the prayer. It was like it just flowed out of me, sort of thing. And like, I'm way out of my comfort zone doing this. Like, that's not me. I'm like super shy, especially when it comes to like strangers, and like there's people walking around us. Like, I'm super out of my comfort zone, but for some reason I just know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I pray for her, and then she stopped shaking. She just like stops crying, stops shaking, and then I was like, so what's going on? What's the matter? And she starts explaining to me that her boyfriend's like being super abusive to her and just real manipulative, and that she's left her family in Sydney to come down and live with this dude, this boyfriend of hers and her family, and she's just going through it. She's just like, oh, they're pretty much just keeping me caged up at the house, as in like not actually in a cage, but she said she had like a proper nursing job and stuff like that, and they like manipulated her into quitting her job, so she had to stay home. And the excuse was they were giving her that because she had this dog, apparently the dog's not allowed to piss outside on the grass, so she has to be home 24/7 to take the dog for a walk so the dog doesn't piss on the grass. Oh shit you not, that's what she's told me, and I'm just like, my heart's just breaking for this girl, eh? Anyways, and we're keeping on talking, and she starts saying, she's like, I don't know what I've done to deserve this. I feel like God's punishing me and stuff like that. And I just tried to explain. I was like, nah. I was like, God's not punishing you, Dale. I said, sometimes we put ourselves in bad situations with people that we think are the right people to be with, and it's just not the case. And anyways, I was like, dude, because she was really scared. She explained to me that it was about a minute before I got there that his family and him had just, after he'd like abused her and like got physical with her in the car park, that she started screaming and they took off because they were worried somebody was going to call the cops or whatnot. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, well, do you want to go to the police, or do you want me to take you there, or like you can come back to my family's house and stay the night. You can call your mum and dad in Sydney and just like get out of this situation. And then yeah, she's just like pouring her heart out to me. She's like, oh, I love him so much and whatnot. And I'm just like trying to explain to her, I'm like, from what you're telling me, like, I feel like you need to get out of this situation and like call your parents. But she didn't want to worry her parents. She said, she's like, oh, I don't want to put my parents are old. I don't want to put them under so much stress. And I was like, oh, I think they'd rather you ring them and tell them that you're in trouble and that you need them than like get a phone call one day that this dude's gone too far and whatnot. And yeah, I offered her a place to stay, but she just insisted she had to go back because she was scared that if she didn't go back soon, he was going to get even angrier and whatnot. But I pretty much begged her to like not go, but obviously you can't force people to do anything. But yeah, but it was funny because it was probably like 2 or 3 days before this even happened. I was just like praying to God, and I was like just asking God, give me an opportunity to like help someone, help a stranger or something. And then like just the way that unfolded. And the other thing she said was like before I got there, she was in the car and she was just crying out to God for help and whatnot. She was telling me that, and I'm like, well, I can't be for certain, but the way this is played out, maybe I was just here just at the right time to like maybe give you some advice and tell you that you're in a dangerous situation, you need to get out there. And like she was super thankful for it. Unfortunately, I couldn't persuade her to like call the cops on this dude, which I thought she should have did, but yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was definitely way out of my comfort zone, but hopefully it did her some good and she got herself out of that situation. But yeah, anyways, that's my story, and I'll I'm gonna try plan probably another trip out to Mount Barney in a couple of weeks. I still haven't gone up Southeast Ridge yet, so I'm gonna go up there and probably do an overnight camp. Yeah, I've been itching to get back out in the mountains again. But yeah, too easy guys, thanks for listening. See yous.